Good morning, beautiful being. It is wonderful to be with you here inside on a rather cold morning. The wind is from the south, and when you're in Wellington, that means you can tell that it's come from Antarctica. So we're inside, because it'd be too noisy out there as well. And that means we've got rocks, and rocks are awesome. And this is sea jasper. Isn't it beautiful? I love this. These little dotty bits. It's beautiful. All I know about sea jasper is that there must be a deposit somewhere that's either underwater or, certainly associated with the sea, and it's gorgeous. This is actually a tiny little, like if you could see inside there's teeny tiny little sparkly crystals. Good morning, Jocelyn. Good morning, Andrew. Good morning, Mike. I can see your little faces up there. Good morning, Jen. Lovely to have you with us. And look at that. It's got a dot even on the bottom. I mean, there's obviously a layer here, right? But the layers have layers. There's nothing missing. Good morning, Misty. Here we all are. It's lovely to have you with me. Just enjoying this. It's a lovely, soft grey and white, and it's so soothing. So, yeah, that's that one. And our other rock today is about as different as you can be while still being a rock. This is smoky quartz celestial. And look, you can't see how there's a dot in there, and you can see it moving because this is really transparent, except when it's all full of stuff. And this is blue-green tourmaline. No wind in Dunedin. Well, it probably was at your place yesterday. It's okay. So it's interesting. So here we have the rock. I hope it's not my phone on the blink. Hopefully it's just the transmission. So, smoky quartz and blue-green tourmaline. And it's lovely to share it with you. And this one is as messy and imperfect as the other one was perfect and smooth and gorgeous. Good morning, Linda. So look at that. I just enjoy this. I was expecting something quite different when I bought it. And when it arrived, I was sort of a little disappointed, but then I got to know it and I thought, oh, it's fabulous. So there you go. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. So today I decided on Friday night to carry on today where we left off. Because on Friday we were talking about letting go, and we were talking about grief and loss and, big changes, right? And well, we've had another big change over the weekend. And whether you like it or not, here it is. And it's also, for some people, it's really like a bookend. It's the end of one era and the beginning of the other. Everyone's different. And I know we talked a lot about letting go last week. And I thought I wanted to talk more about what happens after you let go. Or rather, what happens as you let go. Because we let go incrementally. But if you don't have some idea of where you're going after it, it's like, will you let go into a vacuum? So, now what? You got to create something. You got to get creative. And I wanted to talk about how you do that. The first thing to just wind back slightly, though, is to realise is that if your life has exploded into a pile of, crap, if things have fallen apart, if everything that you knew has dissolved, or something, everything hasn't dissolved, but something really important has changed in your life, or even if you look back on something like that happened 15 years ago and you're thinking, oh my God, I'm still stuck there, can't let go. That was traumatic. I'm emotionally branded. I'm stuck in that time. I can't move past it, right? Because that's what happens. You have a powerful experience, whatever it is. And remember, when you have an experience, all this information comes into you from your 5 senses, and your brain goes, oh, that's new, that's different. And what the brain does is it uses things it already knows to make sense of things it doesn't know. So it looks for things that it recognises and says, well, that's like this, and immediately it associates the thing out there with all the things inside your brain that you do know, but it's an unknown. And so if it was traumatic and you've had other traumatic things, all of that stuff gets linked up together and your brain becomes a bigger, more enriched neural net. If it's good, the same thing. You get more things, more experiences to go in the same bucket of stuff that you experienced as joyful or peaceful or happy or whatever. So, but we get stuck in the bad ones, right? Because it gets branded literally in the architecture of your brain. Your brain goes, oh, here's a new experience. I have to string some neurons together to remember this because it's emotionally powerful. It's emotionally powerful. The fact that, oh my God, this has changed, or this has happened, or I'm confused because everything's a jumble, right? That too is an experience. And when you're facing the unknown, because what you've known is either completely confused and jumbled or just vanished, your brain is going, I'm trying to make sense of what's new, and I'm using what I have known in the past, and sometimes it just can't do it. It's like, there's a blank wall here. The point is, when you have a powerful experience, the brain strings together neurons, and when it does that, depending upon the frequency of the thought, the emotion that you're feeling at the time, or the thought comes before the feeling, or does it? Chicken egg. You get those neurotransmitters that connect with the frequency of whatever you're thinking, and then the neurotransmitters mean neuropeptides, and neuropeptides stimulate your hormonal centers, and you have emotions, and then your brain, which is spying out on your body, goes, oh, the body's feeling traumatized, so let me go looking for more things by association that are like that. Let me go looking for more thoughts that relate to how we're feeling here. And so the thoughts make for the feelings, and the feelings make for the thoughts, and the thoughts make for the feelings, and we talked about that a lot. And that's how you get emotionally and energetically and hormonally and epigenetically and in every way stuck in the past. You get stuck in this cycle of thinking and feeling and feeling and thinking within the boundaries of whatever the experience was. And you think, why can't I move on? This is why. You're just stuck in it, thinking and feeling and feeling and thinking. And the thing is, if you do that for long enough, the body gets so good at having that feeling that it can now do it without you. It's habitual. It's automatic. And, you're busy in your day, and then suddenly you're feeling immense grief or fear or anger, or you think, what the heck happened? Well, your body just noticed something in the environment that you didn't notice, and it said, okay, we got to react to this. Boom, there's the feeling without the thoughts, because it's programmed. It's automatic. It's habitual. So, that's what happens. It's how we get stuck in the past. And that is also what you have to change to move into a future. But in this situation where your past has exploded, your life has changed, and you're thinking, okay, shit, what now? And you have to acknowledge that the self that you were with that previous life, to some degree, has died. That's literally what happens. The self that was with that lover, or the self that had that parent, or had that child. God forbid, it's a really tough thing to have a child die. Not that I've experienced it, but I watched, oh my God. The self who had that job, or who didn't have that illness, whatever it is, that self isn't there anymore. And so we get stuck wanting to go back to being who we were before the thing. But you can't. You are who you are now. And so this is what I want to talk about. Hi, Roberta! We get stuck in the thinking and feeling, which is that old self. So you got to change the self. And that means thinking new thoughts and feeling new feelings and having different behaviours to give yourself different experiences, so you have different feelings, so you think different thoughts, so you do different things, so you have different experiences, so you think new thoughts, so you do different things. You get the idea. But when you don't know who that new self is and how that new self thinks and behaves and feels, it's like, oh, shit. You just want to go back to the old one. And we grieve our old selves, we grieve our old lives, we miss whoever or whatever it was that we used outside of ourselves to affirm who we were inside ourselves, and then that's changed, and now we have to change, but we don't want it to change because we don't know how to change. So, How do you get out of that box? How do you recognize that the death of that self and the loss of that thing or that person or whatever it is outside of you is an opportunity? What? An opportunity? Are you mad? Well, think about it. Let's say you've lost a relationship. And, you thought it was all fine, then suddenly it's gone. Or maybe the person died. It was all fine, but the person died because they were sick. Or whatever. You've lost a relationship. So, how did that relationship help you? To be really blunt about it, what did you get out of it? What was it that person outside of your skin helped you to feel and experience within yourself? Yeah, and now you raise a good point, Roberta. What was it that they helped you to feel within yourself that you liked? And what was it that they helped you to feel within yourself that you did not like? Sometimes it's a really, oh my God, that person's gone. I'm so used to them squashing me and repressing me and criticizing me and making me feel small that, shit, they're not there, but I still feel all that. Isn't that the thing, Your really negative parent lives on in your heart and mind because they programmed you to think and feel that way. And they're gone, but they're still taking up real estate in your head and your body because of all that wiring, right? Because of all the wiring and all the biochemical conditioning, which now means that your body has memorized the state of feeling small and worthless because you were criticized so much, or whatever it was, So it's a massive opportunity. And by the way, when people cross over, particularly, let's talk about, transition, crossing over, passing over, all of that stuff, when they leave, it creates opportunity. And in the process of grief, even when the relationship has been really bad, really negative, to move through it properly so that you're no longer stuck in that relationship, you actually have to address all of that shit, okay? The crap they dumped on you, as well as the good experiences, however many there were of each or other. To really process the relationship and get free of it, you have to at least realise what it meant to you. And to sort out what you want to keep, to sort out what you want to get rid of. And then, in the pile of what I want to get rid of, like I said, you can't just get rid of stuff. It's going to leave a hole. What do you want to put there instead? If that person criticised you from the day you were born until the day they died, well, you might want to think about how would it feel on another planet in an alternate lifetime if I felt worthy in myself, if I felt good. And here's the challenging thing, Roberta. You can only do so much of this with your thinking brain, okay? You can think, I want to feel good, I want to feel worthy, I want to feel good in myself, I want to feel happy, all that stuff. But the problem is that, remember, all of the experiences of being emotionally and intellectually and everything branded with the you're no good or whatever it is, that's hardwired in your brain, right? And it's conditioned into the chemistry of your body. And so when you are thinking, I'm worthy, I'm good, I'm talented, I'm confident, I'm all that stuff, you're thinking a different thought, and there's another big chunk of your brain that is very, very accustomed to and used to thinking something else. It's kind of like David and Goliath. And it's not that you can't change that really enriched neural net about how lousy and worthless I am with a different thought that says I'm worthy and I'm confident and I feel loved and all that stuff. But it's really, really hard because you are using the mind to try to change the mind. And it's like, it's a war. And what I've discovered through doing this work that I do every day, oh my God, I can't imagine my life without it now, that I've learned from Dr. Joe Dispenza, who is my inspiration, that in order to really change those hardwired, massively enriched neural nets of you're worthless, I have to turn my brain off. It's bloody hard to do it with thought. It's bloody hard to do it by thinking about it. It's bloody hard if you haven't been listened to and heard and cared about your entire life to think, I feel heard, I feel cared. It just doesn't freaking work, right? It doesn't work. You have to get past your analytical brain to do this. You have to learn how to slow your brain down out of high beta, out of moderate beta, even out of low beta, which is what you're doing when you're reading. Thoughts, words, whatever. All of that is with the conscious mind, Misty. That's the problem. While we're still thinking, while we're still analysing, while we are still aware, awake, looking around us, paying attention to our senses, it's the mind trying to change the mind, and it does not work well. I mean, you can do it, but it takes a long time. It's really hard. I know. I tried. What I've discovered for myself, this is how it works for me, is I have learned how to slow my brain down out of those beta brainwave states into alpha, which is where my inner world becomes more real to me than the outer world. And I've got so good at it now that I can go from alpha to theta. And theta is in between waking and sleeping. Theta is like being hypnotized. And in that place, and then I can open my awareness out into the unified field. And I'm not thinking, there is no thought. I'm not thinking about a person or a place or a memory or anything that's to do with anything I know in my world. The moment sometimes I find, thoughts will creep in. It's like, no, that's the known. There's no solution for me in anything that I know. Why? Because anything that I know is from my past. My past is not going to help me get to my future. So the moment I find myself thinking about anything that's known, I get my awareness off that and I go back out into this huge, enormous space which becomes the entire universe. I become the entire universe. Oh, it is interesting, Sandy. This is just, this is how I create myself. So to get my attention off everything that is known to me, everything that I can taste, everything that I can smell, anything that I can see and recognize, anything that I can hear and know what that sound is, anything that I can feel, where I am in space. Because why? Because this house has all these memories and everything, and a lot of them are good, but I don't want to be thinking about anything I know if I want to get into my future. I got to go somewhere new, and that means taking all my attention off everything I know. And it's like, what? Yeah, because everything I know is mapped in the architecture of my brain. My thinking neocortex has neural connections that fire when I recognise that cushion, my headset, the crystal, the table, the thing I'm sitting on. That makes my neocortex, my thinking brain, fire. And so that's beta brainwaves. That's what my job is. The brain's job is to make sense of the external world and the internal world. But that's known. I got to slow my brain down. And to do that, I got to stop paying attention to anything known, because if I'm thinking about something known, I'm firing up my thinking neocortex and I'm back in the analytical mind. And that doesn't work. I got to turn that off. And it takes practice. It takes a lot of work. And if your brain's been running around in crazy high beta, being stressed, being sad, being depressed, being grief, being guilt, being shame, whatever it is, that's there's some degree of high beta going on there. The worse you feel, the more your brain is in high beta and very incoherent. This is what's happening. I know how it feels. It happened to me over the weekend. My God, I had to master myself. It's painful. Oh my God, ow. Because I know what it feels like now. So I've got to slow my brain down, and I've got better at doing that. And open my focus. Become no body. This body stops existing. I don't take, even if it's hurting or feeling weird, I don't pay attention to it. I become no one, so I'm not thinking about a person. If I'm thinking about a person, I get my attention off that person, back into the space. I'm not thinking about things, crystals, where I am, whatever. The thing that I need to, whatever. I'm not thinking about where I am, and I'm even not thinking about what time it is, and just gone. And it's a skill to get good at this. So to open my awareness out, when I am in that place, I just become awareness. I just become presence. I just become this awareness, and stuff comes to me and flows in. And in that space also, I can have a thought and make the thought my entire experience. So I can have the thought of feeling worthy when I am entirely awareness. I'm not paying attention to any of that other stuff that might remind me of all my unworthiness. I hope this makes sense. Get my attention off anything that might remind me of who I've been. I'm in this place where I'm just awareness and I'm not thinking anything. I'm just aware. And in that space, I can bring in the thought of, I am worthy. And I have a completely different experience because there's nothing there for me to attach that to. There's no other stuff from my life, previous life, past life, future life, whatever. None of that exists. I'm just in this space of pure awareness. Oh, I'm worthy. What's that feel like? Oh, wow. And there's nothing in the way. There's nothing in the way. And I'm no longer mind trying to change mind because I have connected with the unified field. I am energy changing my mind. Energy is what changes everything. You change your energy, you change your emotional state of being, your brain and your body are going to catch up with you. So this is the opportunity that is created when your life explodes. Because you're not the self you were before it all fell to pieces. And you are left looking at yourself and saying, well, that's who I was. Shit, who am I now? Oh, who is that? And this is what I have to do to create who I want to be. It's the only way I've found to do it. It's to go into the unified field. Open my focus. Stop paying attention to anything about who I've been. And connect. And then that information can come to me. And the experience can come to me. And when I have the experience, then my brain makes new connections. And I have new experience, new feelings. And I actually know what it's like to feel deeply worthy now. I'm not very good at it, but I know what it feels like. I remember it, man. So, beyond anything that I could have imagined when I'm here, using my, mind. Just, wow. So, this is the opportunity when your life falls apart. That's what it's for. Say, hey, this is your opportunity to be bigger. Robin, good morning and congratulations. I just got time to say hi and bye. How fabulous, 23 years. It's a wonderful thing when you get to do that. And for those of us who don't mourn it. This is who you've created yourself to be. Now is what you have. Create. Create. Because that's what you are as a creator. Big love. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.